Hello, and welcome back to another Thursday with the Sorry Mom podcast. I don't know why I'm in a sweater right now. I'm literally on fire. I don't know why I wore one today. It is getting warmer in Kentucky, which I'm thankful for. But per usual, for the 1 millionth day in a row, it rained. So if you're watching this on YouTube, yeah, the humidity got to me in my hair a little bit. All right. But I'm hoping the summer sun is coming. My apartment complex has a pool. I would love to be at that pool after work on the weekends. I just need the sun. I need the sun and the heat. Couple things before we get into the confessions. First, being next week is going to be my first guest star, and I'm super, super, super excited to have her on. Very good friend of mine that I met down here. We are trauma bonded through this job. She's also the one that took all the like promotional photos, I guess you would call that I forced her to take of me. So much appreciation to her. And not only is it going to be a fun episode because you guys get to hear someone other than me talk for 30 minutes, but we're doing like a live on location for part of the episode. So there's going to be two videos next week. The original kind of podcast style that I've been doing, we're going to be in my apartment recording the first part. And then we're going to be in downtown Cincinnati in search of the best espresso martini. A very good friend of mine recently got me addicted to espresso martinis. You know who you are. Excuse me. So that's what we're going to do. So the first part's going to be us talking here, then downtown, and then us deliberating coming back for the first video. Second video is going to be more of like the behind the scenes stuff of what we were doing downtown for the espresso martini tour. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, how many espresso martinis can someone have in one day? I guess you're going to have to tune in next week because I don't know the answer to that either, honestly, but we're going to figure it out. So, looking forward to that. Also, when I first moved down here, I joined a Cincinnati Girls Facebook group. Um, this was to help make new friends. You know, people ask for advice, ask for recommendations in there. Girls are always meeting up and going out, and I loved it. I love being a part of that group. So I decided to shoot my podcast shot and promote it in there. And I got a lot of good responses. A lot of people commented saying they wanted to listen, thought it was a good idea. I got new followers on a lot of different platforms. And even some of the girls messaged me their sorry mom confessions because I asked for them in the post. A few of them wanted to actually be a guest on the podcast, and I welcome any and everyone to be on here. I absolutely love that people want to be on the podcast. So, meeting up with them throughout the next week or two, and I'm really excited to bring them on. I think it's going to be a cool mix up to be able to hear other people's stories and other people's experiences. So, looking forward to that as well. Now, to get into the confessions that were sent in. First of all, thank you to everyone who did. If you participated, I appreciate it. I had the best week getting these and reading through these. I can relate to so many of them. They're so funny to me. Excuse me. And just being able to like read through some of these and be like, oh yeah, me too. Or, yep, also me too was funny. So again, thank you for sending them in. And with further ado, let's get into it. If I could get like a drum roll audio, that's what I need. Brrr. I'm sure I could figure it out at some point. At some point I'll have sound effects, maybe. All right. First confession. And again, these are in no particular order, okay? These are just kind of how they got put on the document. So, no set reason why they are the way they are. Sorry, Mom, that I rolled myself up into a carpet in someone's closet at a house party to avoid getting an MIP. And that's real. You have to do what you got to do to get out of the MIP situation. I get that. Um, the summer going into sophomore year, my friend and I went to our first like high school party. It was a bonfire. And I remember our parents had to drop us off because, this is way before we had IDs or cars to get there. So that's already funny in itself that they had to take us. And I don't think we were there 2 hours. I swear to God, it was just a short amount of time. Someone came running through the backyard. The cops are coming. The cops are coming. We all fucking scatter. Of course, some people there were drinking. Some people there were smoking. Again, I don't even think alcohol was consumed by me and my friend. I can't remember, but I don't think so. We all just start running. My friend and I are booking it through these people's backyards who had clotheslines hanging up to like dry their shit on. And you had like a video game, had to like dodge and duck to try to get under these clotheslines so your head didn't get sliced off. We ran all the way to the end of the road that connected to the main road, and there's like a group of hotels there. And so we were in the parking lot. I remember like hiding behind the semi, which I don't know really what we thought was going to happen. Even if they breathalyzed us, if we had like 3 sips of something, the cops would be like, actually, this is a waste of my time with you two. You guys didn't do anything. But I think it was just the adrenaline of having your first time being like, oh my God, I could get caught by the cops. But the worst part was having to call my parents and be like, hey, so we're actually in a hotel parking lot. If someone could come get us, that would be great. The cops came. I remember my parents, when they picked us up, and we were like awkwardly getting in the car, and they were like, did you drink? Did you do anything? You can call us. That's okay. But did you do anything? And we're like, honestly, no. I didn't get anything down. But that was embarrassing to have to call them after literally being there for the shortest amount of time. And for my first high school party, I didn't think they were going to let me go anywhere else after that, after already having a cop experience. But anyway, on to the next one. Sorry, Mom. When I was in high school, the first time I did Coke, I ended up giving myself a nosebleed. That's a great high school experience. I'm sorry about your nosebleed, but that's funny that your first first experience was a nosebleed with that. That is rough. That's classic. Okay. Sorry, Mom, for breaking and entering when I was in 4th grade and getting arrested. You definitely taught me a lesson when you grounded me from everything, including my stuffed animals. That's real. 4th grade, though, getting arrested for breaking and entering, I need to know more to this story. Were you breaking into someone else's house? Into a business? What were you doing? Who were you with, actually, also? And you got arrested. Did they put like kid handcuffs on you? Put you in the back of a cop car with like a booster seat to take you away? Because I feel like normal handcuffs you could just slip out of. Did you get handcuffed? I need to know the details. And I wish there was a picture because I would love to see this person in 4th grade getting arrested. Next. Sorry, Mom, that I had to tell you that Dad cheated on you with his secretary. this one this one is wild to me. Also, again, have more questions because I need to know how you found out. Did like the rest of the family vote you as the speaker to have to tell your mom? And sorry that you had to tell your mom. That's a hefty fucking weight. I would have a lot of anxiety. I would be scared. I would feel like I have to. Like you have to get that out, but props to you for being able to do that. All right. Sorry, Mom, for using your credit card to buy hundreds of dollars of random shit on Amazon as a teenager. You know what? I told this person my story back to this when I was in my Club Penguin era, you guys. I wanted that membership. My Penguin needed to be fitted the fuck up with new fits, and I wanted the membership. And I used my mom's card to buy the membership, and it was probably like $7 to $10. And I was panicked. I considered running away from home. I was like, what the fuck did I just do? I'm fucked. Freaked myself out. So the fact that you made it through hundreds of dollars of stuff, good for you. Good for you. Sorry, mom, but you don't even want to know because there is just too much to be sorry for. And that is real. That's real. Honestly, same. That's the one I relate to the most because, yeah, there is too much to be sorry for. And, mom, you do not want to know. Next one. Sorry, mom, for saying I was going to see my friend's musical in high school when I was really going to take acid. And I love this one because why were we never where we said we were in high school? I'm so glad I didn't grow up in this era right now where tech is 10 times as big as it was. Like, Find My Friends wasn't a thing. Like, because I know damn well if I was in high school right now, my parents would have me on lock with Find My Friends, making sure I was at school, making sure I was at so and so's house. They would always think I was sound asleep at midnight at a friend's house, like 10, 15 minutes away. I could be cities away. I would be at midnight, I'd be on like my fourth house party, hopping around in basements and backyards doing God knows what. I was never where I said I needed to be. And honestly, driving back in the driveway, coming home the next morning, probably the first time like I'd be up all night. Coming home and laying down was probably the first time I did lay down after some of the nights I had. So I love that. I love that we all equally lied about where we were. Sorry, Mom, that you thought I was incredibly well behaved when I was 15, but I was actually sneaking out of my bedroom window to smoke weed and cigarettes in the park. I think collectively, a lot of our parents thought that we were really good kids. I know for sure up until like my senior year of high school, my parents thought I was like angelic as hell. And also, I wish I had sneaking out of my house stories, but I don't. I was always so scared to. We have like a small one-story house. My parents' room and my room is kind of like right across from each other. So there's no way I could quietly get in and out of a window without them knowing. And the back door was just too much of a risk. Also, my dog that I had at the time would have definitely thought either way, going in and out of the door or in and out of the window, that I was an intruder and he would have barked extremely loud and woke up my parents and my ass would have got caught red-handed. So I was always way too afraid to sneak out. Plus, starting up my car, like once I got out of a window, the car that I had in high school, that would have woke up the whole neighborhood, not just my dog waking up the house. That shit was loud as hell. So I was unfortunately never able to. I wish I did have those stories though. Okay, this particular person had a specific medication for a condition that they have, and they said, sorry, mom, when I was in high school, I took two of my pills for a migraine that I knew was coming on and was so high in the middle of class that I had to sit there and stare at my desk to not out myself. This one's a classic because, as someone who also has had to take pain pills at one time or another, those highs from the pain pills like sneak up on you. Like you think that they're just gonna heal either like a headache or something, and they come in full fucking force. So again, props to you for sitting there because probably would have had to go to the bathroom to start throwing up from anxiety. Like, oh my god, now the whole class knows I'm high, and I'm not even high off anything but what I'm prescribed for this. Like, I would have been panicking. So that's funny that you kind of just had to like sit there and take it, sit there and ride out the high. Sorry, mom, that I wanted to get my daith pierced. Which actually, I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it. I didn't look into that before recording this. So I hope I didn't just make myself look like an idiot. But if I did, what's new? But they said, but I was pretty afraid of needles. So I lied and said I had a bad enough migraine to go to the ER so I could get the IV pain medication and then went and got it pierced right after. What a classic story. Also, dare I say life hack? I'm trying to think like some tattoo areas hurt that I want to get tattooed. And I might have a migraine that morning. And I might have to get some medication to go get that tattoo. I'm I'm thinking about this. I love that confession. Sorry, Mom, that I wasted 4 long, agonizing, deteriorating, controlling years with a boy, and I pushed away my friends, family, and especially you. Aw. I eventually ended it when I realized how unhappy I was, but now our bond is so much stronger than before. That one's really sweet. I think that one really embodies the theme of the confessions for Mother's Day. Also, fuck that guy. Damn, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Fuck him. Send the address. I'll fucking stop by. But I'm so happy that the bond you have with your mom is stronger. I I think it's hard for people to go through those situations because you are so like connected with that person in a relationship that's hard to see kind of around that. But I'm glad you got out of it. Glad you figured out, what was really making you unhappy and what you needed to be happy was to leave him. So again, good for you. Congratulations for getting out of that. I do know from talking to this person that they are much better off in the new relationship that they are in. So I love that for you. Sorry, Mom, when I was 15 and left the house with a clinking bag, it was actually bottles of beer like you thought, and not just loose dominoes in my bag. Which that does crack me up. If that was kind of like your out, like, oh no, these are just dominoes in my bag. I'm 15 years old going to play games because that would be me. I would have to come up with a lie on the spot and just have to think of the most random object that came to mind for that. But also, what I love about this one is it's really true that our parents knew a majority of what was going on, and we're kind of just like, eh. Not necessarily mine, because mine would have absolutely lost their shit if they found out how early of an age I was drinking or anything like that. But a lot of the friend stories that I've heard over the years is like with their parents are like, "We knew you were doing that. We knew you were doing this." So that would be me as a mom. Like if I heard clink clink sneaking out, I'd be like, "What's that?" They'd be like, "Oh, it's just like a game or something I have in here." I'd be like, "Pay the toll. Give me one of what's ever in there, and you can go to your friends." No, I don't know if I would do that. No, I actually probably would. All right. And our last one. Sorry, Mom. I told you I was going to my friend's house for the weekend and actually spent the weekend with my ex. I feel like there's a lot of people in here who can relate to that one. I, and again, it just goes along with the theme of like our parents never knew. We were really, really good, you guys, at sneaking around. I'm sure some of you maybe weren't, maybe got caught, but I love every story in here, especially that one that you guys got away with what you needed to get away with. Now, I have what first, let me just say again, I do want to do this at some point eventually down the road, gaining a little bit more traction with the podcast. I know it maybe kind of threw some of you guys off guard, like, what the fuck is she talking about? Or what is she doing with these confessions? But I told you they would be anonymous. They remained anonymous. Just something fun to do, and I would love to continuously um kind of have this almost like little segment on because I do think it's so it's so funny for me to hear everyone else's stories just besides my own. So I love that. Thank you again. And now for the special end edition, I am doing a sorry mom confession of my own, but a little twist. I'm going to call my mom. I'm going to call her and tell her my confession to get her live reaction. And I'm again, if you're new to the podcast, first of all, welcome. Thank you. If you are one of the girls from the Cincinnati girls group that are watching this, welcome to the life and craziness that is past and present me. Thank you for even supporting this because you don't even know who I am. You just took a chance on listening to a podcast, and I think that's awesome, and I appreciate it greatly. But my parents and my family do not know about this podcast. I'm just kind of starting this off on a whim and seeing how long I can take it before they find out. So I'm going to have to tell my mom that this is like a social media trend, and I'm sending it to my friends. So when you hear me use that excuse on the phone, that is why I have to say that because she doesn't know if she's going to be on my podcast, but she's going to hear the story live. So I'm going to give her a call.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so there's this social media trend going on right now where people are calling their moms and like for Mother's Day and saying like a sorry mom confession with like a crazy story that happened. So I had to call you and do one to get your live reaction to send to my friends.
Okay. Like a story when you were a kid or?
No, this one's going to be a college story.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I think it was the year I did my study abroad trip, and that plays an important role in the story. Remember, it was like 4th of July, and my phone got stolen when we were in South Haven for 4th of July.
Yeah.
And it was like a big thing because I was so annoyed again for the pictures. Like I was so upset that I lost
Yes.
all my study abroad pictures.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay, so the next morning, not only did I not want to have to buy a new phone, but I really wanted the photos. And the next morning, me and my friends saw that Find My Friends was still on, and it was at what looked like to be someone's house. And it was kind of outside of the South Haven area. It was probably like 25 to like 30 minutes from Kalamazoo. So
Okay.
we drove out there to the house, and I
Oh my
was
God.
gonna confront the person. Like I was gonna say like, "Hey, just so happens that my phone's location is here." Da 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 da. We drove out there, pull in the driveway, and it was like a country area, so there was like quite a distance in between the neighbors. They had a long driveway that went
Oh
up
my
to their
God.
house, and so we pull in the driveway.
Do I want to know this?
What'd you say?
Do I want to know this?
Yeah, you have to know this.
Oh my God. Okay.
So we go in the driveway, and there was no cars. There was like no garage, no cars. And we went up to the door and knocked. No one answered. So then we like went kind of around the house, like looking in the windows, and we're like, no one is
Oh
home.
my God.
No, it gets worse.
Oh my God.
So we go back up to the door, and it just so happens by their country lifestyle mistake that the door was unlocked. And so we opened the door and we went in and searched for my iPhone.
You
Like,
did not.
yes.
You did not go into someone's house.
Yes.
You did not.
And it was. And it was a.
Were you drunk?
No. I just wanted my study abroad pictures and I didn't want to have to buy a new phone. And it was just in my era of when I had the nerve to do that. And we walked through kitchen, living room, looking around, and it was a
Oh my God.
it was it was a sketchy, it was a like a one-story country style kind of sketchy home on the inside. Like they had curtains up instead of doors. Like it was a sketchy house. They were doing something in there. Something. And we couldn't find it, of course, but there was like shit all over the counters. Like I know it was somewhere. I still to this day know they had it. And of course we were starting to like freak ourselves out. So we run back in the car, start to go back down the driveway, and the person pulls in the driveway as we're leaving the driveway. And he like rolled down his window. He's in like this pickup truck, and we were like, "Oh, my phone ping was just here from Find My Friends. I was just trying to see if maybe it fell into your bag if you guys were in South Haven for the fireworks, or maybe you accidentally picked it up and grabbed it." And he was like, "No, I don't have a phone." Of course, denying everything. So we end up pulling away. We parked on kind of the side street, and I think we were debating, like, do we call the cops? Like, do we show the cops that my phone is here? Like, is there something a cop could do? He ends up going back down the drive.
Arrest you?
Well, I think that was what was holding us up with calling the cops, is that we knew we broke in the house. But then he pulled back down the driveway and like made a quick turn to the right. He didn't see us on the side street, and he just kind of like flew away, like really quickly, was driving fast. And we looked back on Find My Friends, and the location was off. So I'm
No
assuming,
way.
yeah. So I'm assuming
So he
he,
did have your phone.
yeah.
But what for why?
Because you can restart an iPhone and then sell it. Like he could wipe, which made me the most sad, again, for those pictures, is he probably wiped the phone, factory reset that thing, and then went and sold it as a new phone that someone could just take to a carrier and like hook up.
Based on the description of the house, do you think he was that smart?
It doesn't take a lot of intelligence, and based on the inside of the house, they were schemers. We actually found like 7 different phones in one of these drawers. They were like
You
Android.
went to your drawers?
Yeah, I wanted to find my phone.
Sarah Marie! Oh my god.
But there were a bunch of phones and electronics that I'm highly guessing were not theirs, and that might have been just a scheme that they did. So,
Maybe that's their side gig.
exactly.
Or
So,
their facing forward gig.
even though we were all upset, my phone got stolen and I had to go to Verizon to get a new phone. I wanted
Yeah.
to make that my confession so that you knew I still tried everything I could to find my iPhone.
To find your 504th iPhone.
Yes, and I only did that again because I wanted those pictures, and obviously I did not want to buy a new iPhone. I've been through that a million times, but I was determined to get those pictures, and if that took breaking and entering, it took breaking and entering.
Sarah, let's tell each other when we lose iPhones next time.
No, you already knew at this point. I told
Okay,
you.
well, I didn't know you would go to such lengths as to break into Hillbilly Hank's house and risk getting your head blown off. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Well, I'm here to tell the story. We were smart about it. It wasn't in there. It was in
This
there.
isn't gonna happen every Mother's Day, is it?
No.
If this is your opener, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I'm starting off with the easy one.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't want this to be a trend. I don't want it on my birthday. I don't need it on Christmas. No happy fucking New Year. Just keep the shit to yourself.
All right. Well, I'm going to send that to my friends now. That was a great reaction. It was actually what I expected it to be. So thank you for participating in the social media trend.
And not anytime. All
right. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. So honestly, that went a little better than I thought it would. I thought she was actually going to be more mad. But then again, like, that was 5, 6 years ago. Why, she can't do anything about it now. I just know she hates hearing those stories. But that was entertaining for me to do. And if you're watching it on YouTube, you might have saw my handshake during that phone conversation, because I literally have, again, so many stories that I just have not told my mom. It took me probably till I was like 23 or 24 to tell her that I had a fake ID. Like, I'm nervous. But I'm glad that went okay. I'm glad she thought it was funny in the end. Again, next week, first guest star in the Espresso Martini Crawl in downtown Cincinnati. So make sure you come back to watch / listen. Could I have said that any more fucked up? Make sure you come back to watch / listen. Again, say that 3 times fast. For that episode as well. Again, thank you if you are new from my Cincinnati Girls crew. I love the support, and I hope to have more of you on here as well. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Uber, please. And love you all. Mwah.